Dean sings.
Good afternoon. Can you hear a little bit better now? We tested this with an empty room. This is not an empty room. We're so glad to have you all here today and join us for this time. We do this as a free process, but we want people to come and learn about the museum. But we will accept donations. We could actually use some money for some chairs, okay? Y'all can kind of feel that about now, can't you? I'm going to try to make this brief, but it won't be, I guarantee you. We've got some great folks here today. And I'm just going to get started so we don't delay this any further. On behalf of our president of the Historical Society, Dr. Sam Monroe, he regrets he was unable to be here. He was so looking forward to this, but could not come. He actually held off telling me till 11 o'clock. They found that he wasn't going to be able to make it. We have some of our board members in our crowd. Would you just wave your hands or stand up there? Okay, that's board members of the Historical Society. Folks, there's a lot to tell you. I'm going to do it as fast as I can. We have some interesting folks today, and people come here and they always say, well, I didn't know that. Well, this place is full of that. So today you're going to learn some things about some of these folks. I'm going to start out, and I got a little technical thing here. Did I mention we have a gala coming out April 26th? He's been seeing that scroll by. We're having the Redneck Tenor singing here on the 26th. Tickets you got to make a reservation by April the 11th. It's going to be a real cool show. Our very first person, Paul Orta. Paul was born September 6, 1957 and passed away on May 16, 2019 in Port Arthur. He always liked to say he was born in Janet Joplin City. I'd like to acknowledge Johnny Orta, who recommended his brother for inclusion in the exhibit today at the Museum of the Gulf Coast. Thank you, Johnny. There were many others that had chimed in with you, expressing their support. He was a son of David and Maria. We lost him after a struggle with cancer. David, he had 6 brothers and sisters. Virginia, James, Rudy, Johnny, David, and Elma. Very large family. Louis Armstrong first influenced Paul at the age of 7, and after 9 years of playing a cornet and school band, Paul quit because the band never played blues or jazz. Go figure. Within half a year, he picked up his harmonica, and in 3 months, he had his first professional band, the Bio Boogie Band, when he was 16. They played in the Golden Triangle area and then throughout Louisiana for 3 years. Paul had well-prepared bands in most European countries. He had at least 4 in Spain and a couple in Latin America. In 1979, Paul Orta moved to Austin, and he won the Kerrville Folk Festival in 1980. Later, he formed the Backdoor Men with the Port Arthur native Bill Jones guitar, and with the help of Eddie Scott bass involved the Kingpins. Afterwards, he entered the Antone's University of the Blues. He said he had a master's degree from the University of the Antone Blues. Playing with blues greats Jimmy Rogers, Snooky Pryor, Eddie Taylor, Sonny Sumlin Slim, Hubert Sumlin, Matt Guitar Murphy, Pine Top Perkins. Every time Snooky played Antone's annual festival, he invited Paul to play with him. And Jimmy Rogers also employed him as a harp player each year for the festival. One of his favorite memories was playing a weekly gig for 3 months with Sumlin Howland Wills guitar player. Paul Orta has fronted his band, the Kingpins, aka the International Playboys, and various other groups around the world. He has noted that some of the music styles can be fads, but blues is always with us. Well, Paul noted in this reason in the interview, he said, because the blues are the roots of American music, We can bring jazz players we can bring a jazz player, a country player, and a rock player, and put them together for a blues song, and they will work. It will all work. There's a brand new generation playing blues these days, not just in the States, but here this around the world. Paul Orta has played in the USA, Spain, England, Ireland, France, Norway, Germany, Belgium, Italy, Austria, Russia, Portugal, Poland, Brazil, Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, and the Netherlands. Now you know why he was never home. He opened for B.B. King, Johnny Lee Hooker, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Van Morrison, Fabulous Thunderbird, Junior Walker, James Cotton, Buckwheat Zydeco, and on. Paul also toured and recorded with the Texas Guitar Tornado, U.P. Wilson. He can be heard on dozens of albums and over 3 dozen different compilations and various albums in North and South America, Europe, and Japan, Africa, and Australia. In addition, he has had the benefit of performing with many second-generation bluesmen. Past members of Paul's band have included Uncle Tom Turner, Keith Ferguson from the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and Stevie Ray Vaughan's player Mike Kindred. He was also nominated the Texas Harmonica Tornado by Buddy Magazine in 1987. Paul has played in the Battle of the Harmonicas in San Francisco and the Texas Harmonica Rumble in Austin, Texas. Harmonicas endorsed him in 1980 and 1990. He helped Kendrick and Amplifiers design an amplifier called the Texas Crude. Paul is also endorsed by Harpo Depot, Shaker Mics, the Amp Room, Tony Roma's Harp. The list goes on. In fact, Paul is one of the few harmonica players endorsed by both the United States entity of the Horner Company as well as Europe. He also designed his own special slide harp, which allows one player various positions on one harmonica. Besides performing, Paul also worked as a producer and songwriter whose songs have been covered by different groups. Paul was an active promoter of the blues in schools. Through the years, he was often based most of the time in European countries. From 85 to 95, he enjoyed the music scene in Austin. Every night he had great choices of people to see. And in 2009, Paul returned to Port Arthur, taking some time off. And after that, he returned to the performing on the road and going around the world. While Paul enjoyed playing and traveling around the world performing, he experienced one of his worst moments on the road when he was in Germany on tour, and he got an email that his father had passed away, and it was too late for him to be able to attend the funeral. Paul passed away on one of his closest. After Paul passed away, one of his closest friends wrote, Paul Orta was probably the most self-sufficient, well-traveled blues man on the planet. He built up worldwide networks of contacts, and like the proverbial sailor with a woman in every port, Paul had multiple. Hey, I didn't say that. Thought I better throw that in pretty quick. Paul had multiple well-prepared bands in most European countries, the U.S. and Latin America. Apart from being well-traveled, he was discreet and extremely modest and almost a Zen-like spirit of calm, which he transmitted to all those around him. Speaking from his experience, he turned a bunch of undisciplined, squabbling fools. Band members remember this, okay? You recognize this profile. Squabbling egomaniacs, and he was able to anticipate and eliminate these problems with his good humor and psychological aura. He was our Mr. Miyagi, the character from the movie Karate Kid. He could settle down a rowdy bunch. I had the opportunity to speak to some of Paul's former bandmates about him. They all shared that Paul had a unique style of playing. He never needed music. He could join in playing with the greatest of ease. They said that his interpretation was spot on, and he was the most impressive musician on and off the stage. A good friend and a talented artist. These comments came from band members who traveled and played with Paul for over 30 years. I read where one time he was described as Mr. Feel Good Blues. Today we salute the talents and body of work left behind, and congratulations, Paul Orta. And as I will say, we're talking about Paul Orta from Port Arthur, Texas, okay? I'm going to share a few things about Paul now.
Hey, hoo-hoo, I'm Paul Orta from Port Arthur, Texas, coming to play your town. Entonces nos vemos pronto, hoo-hoo. going to the moon.
Paul Orta. Technical thing here. Don't you just love remotes on your television? There we go. I'd like to have Johnny, if anyone would like to join you, come forward. Let's come over here so I can hear what we're saying. On behalf of the Port Arthur Historical Society, and this is the part that Dr. Sam Monroe does so well, we're giving this plaque to you as recognition of Paul's induction into our legacy exhibit here at the Museum of the Gulf Coast. It reads, the Museum of the Gulf Coast, Port Arthur, Texas, in recognition of your life accomplishments, Paul Orta is hereby included in the legacy exhibit April 1st, 2025. And so this is signed by the president of the organization, Sam Monroe, and Tom Neal. This is for your family.
That's the words come out right, but I've been working on this for 5 years. All I can say is Paul says yes.
There we go.
Thank you for everybody that came.
All right. Our next contestant was nominated by Bob McCullum, a friend of his, lifetime friend. And Bob, we appreciate you nominating Bart. And again, it was echoed by many. Bart is here today with his brother, Ken, who is in support of this ceremony. Ken is a state representative in the state of Arkansas. We lost Bart's sweet parents tragically many years ago, and I know that they would be proud of you and your accomplishments, both of you and Ken. It's a pleasure today to be able to induct a talented photographer and a good friend of mine in the legacy exhibit here at the Museum of the Gulf Coast. Commercial. I'm doing all the jobs, I have to start over, okay? All right. Bart does not meet a stranger and is a friend to so many of us here today and throughout our city, region, and throughout the world. Mr. Bart Bragg, I officially became close friends when Bart Bragg was, when I was in my second year of college. I was asked to sing a role in a musical that grows in 2 weeks on the road through 5 states. Bart was a member of the church and a deacon and choir member, and on tour, Bart drove his car to carry some of the group and helped as a volunteer for the tour. There were about 50 kids in the choir, but there was Bart. As I recognized him all my life and up until then, the professional crickio photographer, there he was, a photographer now demonstrating one of his amazing personal qualities that many may not know, be so familiar with. Bart is a forever positive volunteer, helper, supporter, caregiver, just to mention a few, and a great person to know and be around. You have to be on your toes when you're talking to Bart, as he has great wit. And no matter how you felt before Bart walks in the room, before he leaves, he has a way of always helping you lighten up and trying to equal some of that positive light energy that he injects into you at that visit. I've observed Bart using this caregiver's positive energy that he had to care for so many throughout our community in so many ways. I can hardly begin to cover all that he has done in support of others through his genuine, positive, caring manner. He visits the sick in the hospital, caring for invalids that he has befriended. Once I learned that Bart invited a small group of retired elderly ladies with limited mobility to ride in his car to be at a safe hotel location during a couple of the local hurricane evacuations. If you need a ride, I'll give you Bart's number. He never says no. Bart is also a lot to handle. Those that know Bart know what this is. Those that you don't know, Bart was in my father-in-law's choir at the church. And when they do the Christmas cantata, he would pass this out before they do the big production of the choir. It was cough medicine. Deacon of the Year cough medicine. Heal thyself, take liberally, and give sparingly. After attention, keep away from an open flame. Share with your pastor. Relieves everything. It's a miracle. To report a lost or stolen cough medicine bottle, call 1-800-CONFESS. A product of the Guido Incorporated. There's a lot of stories behind that. But I will let it pass. Not today. Looking back, as I was a child growing up, going to the TJ Friday night football games, I could not help but notice these two guys in all white coveralls toting cameras at the game. We would really notice them when right in front of us, these white coveralls, they would be climbing over the fence to the field to get a better position to take action photos for the game. That was Bart Bragg and Frank Cricchio. What an impression. Bart began his love for photography in his early years, I believe, with a Polaroid camera. I think we all started somewhere along there. He worked his way up from there in high school. I documented his skills in the school newspaper, yearbook, where he continued to expand his talent. One time, Bart left school in the middle of the day. Yeah, took a right-hand turn, instead of left-hand turn. He left school because he wanted to take a picture of a presidential candidate, Barry Goldwater, who had arrived at the airport that day. He was successful, except that, as so many of us know, when he met the wrath of our well-known attendance officer at the high school, Miss Tinney. She was brutal. I don't think she was happy with Bart's absence or his excuse, but he did survive the encounter. Here he is today. I believe Bart began working with Frank Cricchio while he was still in high school. From there, Bart served during the Vietnam War in Vietnam as a photographer. After returning, he picked up right where he left off as a duo of Frank Cricchio's studio. Frank's status and quality film work, Cricchio's status and quality of film work, he was Cricchio Frank's travels and training. He was known around the world. A little side note real quick. One day, Frank, if you didn't know it, traveled all over the world training people. I mean, he had played all over the world. You'd run into somebody that Frank had trained. In fact, the International Association of Photographers renamed their international award the Frank Cricchio. Yes. But anyway, some man from FedEx showed up on Gulfway Drive when Bart was sitting there, and this man announced himself as being the vice president of FedEx, and he wanted to know what was going on here. And Bart said, "Let me have you some of no." Bart said, "I'm sorry, what's your problem?" He said, "Well, we monitor this. Y'all got $250,000 worth of shipping coming out of this place. We want to know what's going on with this thing." And Bart had to explain to him what Frank was doing, traveling all over the world. It turned out to be a good thing because he gave Bart his card, and he said, "If you ever get in trouble, give me a call." Well, you know what happens. Bart got a call from Frank. Frank was stuck on the streets of New York waiting for his equipment to get there and the conference to begin. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon in New York, Friday afternoon. And so Bart calls this guy up, and I think the equipment was there in about 5 minutes. And they must have been going down the sidewalks. I'm not sure. Interesting story about those guys. As I mentioned, Dr. Sam Monroe, President of the Historical Society, is ill today and could not be here. He deeply regretted not being able to be here as he was looking forward to this moment with you, our amazing collection of inductees here. I pared down some of my remarks today to allow for Dr. Monroe to to share his observations. Knowing and working with Bart for so many years. Like all of us, Sam respects and admires Bart for all of his many qualities, and I mentioned here today, and I miss many of them. Like Sam, and on behalf of the Port Arthur Historical Society, I would like to extend an overwhelming expression of gratitude for the many countless hours and resources you have poured into this and helping us grow the Museum of the Gulf Coast all through these years. A big thank you, Bart. I could go on, but I would like to close this part of the induction by sharing with you some comments from the letter of recommendation of Bart's induction from Bob McCullough. It's a tremendous honor and privilege for me to nominate lifelong Port Arthurian Bart Bragg for the well-earned recognition of the Museum of the Gulf Coast. Since attending high school at Thomas Jefferson, Bart has had a camera in his hand, documenting important Gulf Coast happenings, capturing images of notable accomplishments and individuals, and sharing his photographic wizardry via local, regional, and national media. Early on in his prolific career, spanning more than a half a century, Bart collaborated with his mentor Frank Cricchio in pioneering color portrait photography, as well as in perfecting newspaper production of color photos. He went on to photograph a high-ranking state and national elected officials, sports heroes, recording artists, movie stars, business leaders, and so many more important people. His winning personality has made him a favorite among his photographers and his photographic subjects, including the likes of the internationally famous like Bob Hope. Mr. Bragg, his Bragg Museum in his home, if you didn't know this, he has a lot of photographs on the walls. His Bragg Museum in his home is filled with an incredible collection of his photos of important people from near and far. In addition, his professional photographic expertise, Bart has been a long-time staunch supporter of the museum and annual Gulf Coast Gala fundraiser. He has devoted tremendous amount of time as a caregiver to individuals dealing with both medical and non-medical challenges. Bart Bragg is truly a Port Arthur, Southeast Texas treasure who, in my opinion, has distinguished himself as both a professional and as a human being. He's a highly accomplished photographer with a personality who's done so much to uplift others and bring great credit to his hometown and region. Please accord Bart your utmost consideration for inclusion in the Museum of the Gulf Coast. Thanks and best wishes. Now we're going to show you a little taste of this. I think you got that photographic thing down. I mean, you worked on it really hard. I mean, really got it. Bart, would you come forward? I know Sam would like to be doing this for you. And you're probably glad I'm doing it because you have a few remarks you don't want to hear. We're honoring you today with this plaque of the Museum of the Gulf Coast from Port Orta, Texas. It represents the recognition of your life's work and accomplishments. The Bart Bragg is hereby included in the Legacy exhibit, and here in Port Orta, Texas, April 2025, signed by the President of the Historical Society, Sam Monroe, and Tom Neal, Director. Bart Bragg.
I want to say a couple of words here. What did you do with my cough medicine?
I will say this, after seeing this, Bart is going to start charging admission to his house so you can see all the photographs he has on the wall.
And you can sign up for this. And we'll be selling it at the First Baptist Church in Grove. So I would like to know how many people have been healed with this. Okay. It really works. I have to thank God for giving me a talent that I learned at an early age, and I learned at church. And I want to show you the first camera I had. In 1962, my parents gave me a Polaroid camera, and I took it to church and was taking pictures, and our pastor at the time, Brother Gayer, he said, why don't you bring your Kodak down to church? Every camera was a Kodak back then. He said, bring your Kodak down to church and take a picture of all the new members when they joined, and the new mothers and their babies. Well, 1962 was the tail end of the baby boom. And so we had quite a business for about another year or two. And we put all these pictures up on a bulletin board, and it worked out pretty good. But this is how I got my start. And I my brother and sister-in-law are here, Ken and Beverly Bragg, and Bob McCullough. Where are you? There's Bob and Shelley McCullough from San Antonio back there. And I've had a lot of help along the way. You know, there's that cartoon of a turtle on a fence post. And it said, you didn't get there by yourself. So, and also I want to recognize Lorena Figueroa, who has been working with me for 17 years. Believe it or not. And I can't function without her because I was the last guy to go from film to digital. I've still got film in my freezer in case it But Lorena does everything, all the Photoshop, computer work, I can't function without her, so I thank you, Lorena. Okay?
You gonna help me with this?
Yeah. Tom Neal is the brains behind this whole operation. He's done a magnificent job, and if you haven't been upstairs yet to see those exhibits, I would encourage you to go and become a member of the Museum of the Gulf Coast.
Thank you, Bart. We have a lot of help around here. I tell you what, one thing I'm gonna ask you to help us with, there's a membership form. There's so much going on here, you need to keep up with it, you need to join, help us out, help us buy some more chairs, okay? We need some more chairs. I can remind you about that as we progress here. I can probably make a bigger impression as we go along. All right. Our next person here is still building his resume. And so we're going to enjoy hearing from him. He was Mike Zito. I've been blessed with some interesting people through the years. Kendrick Perkins and basketball player said, you've been appreciated a lot of places in Boston, but you haven't been appreciated at home. And sure enough, those guys got caught. They were not expecting. And so you've got a real problem because you've got two homes. You got your home here, and we know you're back in St. Louis now, but you don't forget to find the area code here and come back in the zip code and come see us, okay? Now, I'm going to begin this portion of this. There he goes. I'm going to start this kind of back into this thing. I'm going to list you these accomplishments. These bullets I want you to hear. 2010 Blues Music Award, Song of the Year for Pearl River. 2012 Blues Music Award debut with artist Samantha Fish, producer. 2014 Blues Music Award for DVD of the Year, Royal Southern Brotherhood. 2018 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Artist of the Year, his first. 2021 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Artist of the Year, second one. In 2021 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Album, Rock and Roll Chuck Berry. 2022 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Album, Resurrection. 2024 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Album, Blood Brothers. 2024 Blues Music Award for Blues Rock Artist of the Year, his third. Artist of the Year.
Yeah.
Pretty soon they're going to get you a jacket you can wear along those things. Because guess what? 2025 Blues Music Award nominations, including his 2025 Blues Rock Artist of the Year. Could be his fourth if he's voted in May. I tried to go vote, but they wouldn't let me. You have to be a musician, and you have to pay dues. That could be his fourth. We're sending positive vibes your way, Mike. And then in 2025, the Blues Rock Album of the Year, Life is Hard. I'm waiting to find out about that. I sling a name out there from time to time, and I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, but just for a benchmark. Billboard magazine. All through our life, people say, well, that's on the charts, or that's going up the charts, that's number one. That's Billboard. Now, every radio station, I was on the radio years ago, and we live by that chart. It helped you know the popularity and the way things would go down in this country. Well, Mike has 6 Billboard #1 albums. Okay, I'm going to get these papers separated because I'll make this a real short presentation. I'll be ending it before we know it. Okay. Mike Zito. Mike was born November 19th, 1970 to Frank and Doris Zito in St. Louis, Missouri. He grew up in a city on the south side. Mike's father worked for Anheuser-Busch as a union bottler, and his mother stayed home and raised the kids. They lived in a 4-family flat apartment which consisted of 5 rooms total. Mike had 2 sisters and a brother, Frank Jr., Patty and Judy. They were all much older than he was. So Mike's father was 48 when he was born, his mother was 40. So mostly he grew up as an only child with his parents, as other siblings had already moved out. He went on to Catholic school, kindergarten, and there was a music school just a few blocks from his apartment, the Tower Groove Music Store. They sold guitars, drums, pianos. Mike would spend his time there as a child dreaming about guitars. His mother bought him his first guitar at age 8, Christmas 1978. No one else in the family played music. He didn't have lessons until he was in high school. He knew a few friends, and so they would learn to teach each other. His first guitar teacher, though, was Richard Fortis, who is now the guitarist for Guns N' Roses. Wow. He started out pretty well. After high school, Mike got a job at a music store in the neighborhood, the Tower Groove Records, and he would work there for a decade. This is where he cut his teeth with, as a musician. He played in various cover bands in the city, everything from Motown to blues, rock and roll. He had a strong affinity for the blues and was able to see some of the greats living in St. Louis who played the local club back in the 80s and 90s. In 1994, Mike became a father for the first time. There you go. Trying to find full-time musical employment, Mike moved to Nashville in '95 to go on the road with a Christian contemporary singer, Tony Vincent. When those tours completed in '96, he came back and he was written with a renewed energy and to form a blues rock trio playing his original music. Mike was no longer interested in playing cover songs. He wanted to play his own music and record the things that he liked. In 1998, he released his debut album, Blue Room. That was exactly what Mike wanted to do musically. He went on to record his second album, America, Most Wanted, in 1999. In 2000, Mike became a father of a daughter, Zito, Riley Zito, named after his favorite musician, B.B. King. There you go. In 2001, his third child was born. Now a father of 3 children. He had a lot of responsibilities, and his music wasn't going as planned. And drinking led to drugs use, which led to abuse in the early 2000s. By 2002, he could no longer hold his job and help care for his family. And he fled to Florida to overcome his addictions. And he was there for 6 months, and people helped him, and he was living room to room and on the street. The folks in Key West took good care of him during that time. In January 2003, he moved to Dallas, Texas to begin working for Fender Musical Instrument Corporation, a dream job where he would travel to Texas and Louisiana stores demoing new guitars and amps. He was also looking for a woman he had met back in St. Louis in 1999 who was visiting her grandparents, Laura Duke, an elementary math teacher from Nederland, Texas. 2 homes. 2 homes. He began his new job with a stroke of luck. He found her on the phone number and made a date for dinner with her. The rest is history. And then he got fired from Fender Music. He thought I was wrapping it up. Yeah. And then he moved to Southeast Texas to live with Laura. It didn't take long for her to realize he had a drinking and drug problem. Within months, she helped him find a recovery program in the area. Mike got clean and sober on October 28th, 2003. He has not drank or used since. Laura helped Mike get his life back on track, and together with his children and his family, they married in the summer of 2005. Mike also began playing music again, this time sober and with very strong determination. With the support of Laura, his life back in check, he began music writing and songs about addiction and recovery, playing and touring the country at bars and casinos. I want to know the other part of that shoe dropping when I heard that too. I heard, and this may be wrong, but I heard that your AA group and your support groups were so supportive of you that they said they would just come with you and sit on the front table right there and watch you. Thank God for them, right? In 2006, Mike and Laura would give birth to their daughter, Sophie Zito. His luck came about in 2007 when he sent his album Superman to Electro Groove Records in Los Angeles. The owner was also in recovery and caught the themes of several of Mike's songs and gave him a recording contract that same year. In the fall of 2007, Mike flew to Hollywood to record his first label album, Today, and he would record his rendition of Little Red Corvette that Prince made so popular. At one point, Prince demanded that all his music that wasn't being played by him be pulled down from YouTube, but he let Mike keep up his version of his classic because he liked Mike's rendition of the song so much better. In 2009, Mike recorded his second album for Electro Groove Records, Pearl River. The title track was co-written with Cyril Neville of the Neville Brothers. During his time, Mike began touring with Johnny Winter, one of his all-time heroes and one of our inductees. Mike and Johnny struck up a fast friendship, and Johnny was excited that Mike lived in Southeast Texas where he was born and raised. Johnny would ask about his hometown and friends and the music scene. Pearl River, the album, went on to receive Mike's first Blues Music Awards nomination, Song of the Year for Pearl River and Blue Rock Album of the Year. Mike and Cyril would take home the award for Song of the Year for Pearl River. This was a dynamic change in Mike's musical career. The two of them embarked on friendship that led to many songs written together and a supergroup, Royal Southern Brotherhood. Laura gave birth to their daughter, Josie Zito, in 2016. Now with 5 beautiful children, Mike and Laura were set in their marriage and family. The Royal Southern Brotherhood thrust Mike into a new spotlight in the music world. In 2013, Mike released his biggest album to date, Gone to Texas. I think that's when you officially were Texas, a Texan. I think you can raise your hand. And, you studied that, you researched it. This album told his story of moving to Texas to find love and get sober. He wrote songs about the Rainbow Bridge and life on the Gulf of Mexico. The album would be nominated at the Blues Music Awards to become one of his fans' favorites. In 2014, Mike pursued his own recording music career as a solo artist. He began touring internationally with fan bases in Germany, Italy, Belgium, and the Netherlands, Norway, and the UK. Mike was very busy touring and recording albums full-time. After many Blues Music Award nominations, Mike won his second award in 2018 for Blues Rock Artist of the Year. He has gone on to win this award 3 times in 6 years. The same year, Mike and his partner, Guy Hell, would form Gulf Coast Records in Nederland, Texas. The record label would eventually be home of all of Mike's recordings, as well as artists, even Tito Jackson, among others. In 2019, Mike released a rock and roll tribute to Chuck Berry. Having met Chuck Berry many times in the store where he used to work, and they would play together from time to time, Mike decided to return to his rock and roll roots of the St. Louis and pay tribute to the king of rock and roll. The album featured 20 classic Chuck Berry songs, each with a special guest artist joining Mike. In early 2020, Mike gave his first rock and roll tribute concert in St. Louis to a sold-out crowd with several of the other artists performing. Unfortunately, the rock and roll tour and shows were canceled due to COVID. Here it goes. A month later, still the album has had record sales and still a milestone in his long career. During and after COVID, Mike worked and recorded albums and wrote songs. He began a collaboration in 2021 with longtime friend Albert Castiglia, called the Blood Brothers. The two would perform together and create a supergroup with 2 bands. This was an instant success for both of them. They would win the Blues Award for Blues Rock and Roll Album of the Year in Memphis. Hold on as best I can. In spring of 2022, Mike's wife Laura began having abdominal pains. After months of testing, she went to Houston and it was confirmed that she had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Laura began treatment at MD Anderson in Houston, but insisted that Mike continue to tour and play music to keep his family financially secure and stable. Mike did so, though very difficult. Mike began writing a song for Laura during his illness called Forever My Love. And if I'm correct, you started out one morning sitting in the kitchen and you just screamed out the lead first line of that song, and it sounded like it needed some more to go with it. He would sing it to her every morning. They had the idea of the record, a tribute album to his wife. At some point, Laura's cancer never retreated and only got worse. Laura Duke Zito died on July the 31st, 2023, in her bed there in England. Mike and their 2 daughters were by her side. This devastation was unreal for Mike and his family. They did the only thing he knew how to do. He made good on the promise to pay tribute to his late wife through music. In September 2023, Mike recorded the album, Life is Hard. Boy, we can share that title, all of us in our lives. Life is Hard. He did that in Hollywood, California. They recorded many classic songs that help tell the story of Mike's loss and his love for his wife. No song on the album has more emotion, feeling, and loss than Mike's original song, Forever My Love. The album, Life is Hard, was released February 2024 at number 1. Okay, folks? That doesn't happen. Billboard always makes you come in at a number and then work your way up. Mike Zito, they brought his album in the number 1 position. Forever My Love was played on Sirius Radio almost every day for the remainder of 2024. In January 2025, Life is Hard was nominated for a Blues Rock Album of the Year. Mike has been nominated by the Blues Rock Artist of the Year by the Blues Hall of Fame, and we're, of course, waiting to hear that in May when we get the results. Mike's career continued to reach further into the world of music. In January of this year, Mike invited his friend, actor Bill Murray. You know, Saturday Night Live Bill Murray, okay, just saying. To join his Blood Brothers band. Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers have performed 10 shows to date this year and to sold-out crowds, and have another 20-plus shows booked in 2025. Mike moved back to his hometown in St. Louis, Missouri, with his youngest daughter, Josie, to become the executive director of the musical nonprofit called Broken Rocks, a recording studio in Wildwood, Missouri, where Mike can help young artists record their music and make their dreams come true. Mike once more found true love with a woman he went to high school with years ago, Jackie Waters. The two felt spiritually drawn to one another and have brought their two families together. Mike and Jackie were engaged January 2025. Mike believes his wife Laura had a big hand in his life, even after, and especially after her passing. Mike Zito will continue to record music, write songs, tour the world. Mike will help to shape the blues genre with his record label and his mentoring of young artists. And now I'd like to share some Mike Zito with you.
Yeah.
This is 2024 in Germany. Yeah.
saved me from a life of addiction. Every step of the way, I was sleeping on the streets in Florida, but I ended up in Texas because I had met a woman by the name of Laura, and who became my wife eventually. But she was really the first one to kind of suggest that maybe I'm not a bad person, but I'm just making bad choices. And I think her kind of giving me some confidence, you know, that I could get sober.
Forever, my love, I will always be true. Forever, my love, I will always be with you. Until the end of time, this love is evermore. This world has never known a love that was so pure.
The story behind the song Forever My Love. My wife, Laura Zito, we were married for 18 years. We were together for 20 years. She started to feel ill around the spring of 2021. A few months later, they found that it was pancreatic cancer. And it was stage 4 when they found it. And she was given 9 to 12 months to live at 47 years old. I wanted to write one really good song for her. And that's the song that I wrote for her. And I was really lucky that she got to hear it many times because I sang it to her every morning. I've really never worked harder in my life on a song than I have on that song. And I think that's why it's my best song. I'm not the greatest, most talented musician, but I think I maybe work harder than most. Many very talented people that I knew growing up that had no interest in pursuing that as a career whatsoever. Doesn't mean they're still talented, but they maybe don't want to perform, or they don't want to travel, or they don't want to. This particular job is the job that I wanted. You know, I wanted to perform. Advice that someone ever gave me. It's always the same answer. It's my dear friend and hero Walter Trout. He has told me many times, don't quit. It's never over unless you quit. Doesn't matter how bad things are, or your career is not going as well as you want, you're not making enough money, the band is not, whatever it is, he goes, it's not over until you say it's over. And so never, just do not give up. Keep going. It will only get better. It's true.
the title track of my new album that came out last year. You know, I'm not originally from Texas, from St. Louis, Missouri, but I moved down here about 11 years ago, living on the road, doing drugs and alcohol, and wound up in Southeast Texas, like broke down and beat, and I met my wife. She helped me get cleaned up, got my life back together, started playing music, and my music career started taking off. And you know, I started to really embrace the Texas culture. I mean, I love it, you know, and the music started to really, St. Louis is a big blues town, so I come from blues. I always liked, you know, Southern rock and country and Western music, and I wanted to write a song or an album. But man, I mean, Texas has really been good to me. It's got me helped me straighten my life out. And I was reading, just doing Texas history. Going to Texas is a very, it's a historical term. I just reading that, and I thought, man, I didn't, you know, I'm not a hero, but I kind of had the, you know, that's my story. I mean, I moved to Texas and got my life back together. And so I kind of took it from that point of view. I wanted to, not just the song, but the album, you know, like kind of what it means to me. An outsider has been here 11 years, and what a warm welcome it's been, how good it's been for me, this change in my life.
Texas, baby, I got my guitar by my side, yeah. Well, down Texas, baby, got my guitar by my side, yeah. I'm gonna find you, oh, you know I'm gonna make her mine. love by my side, yeah. Lord, I found me a woman, and Lord, I made her mine.
Mike? I got my voice. Time. It's time.
It's time.
Welcome to Texas.
And this is Bart Sam would do. By the way, I need to make one comment. Some of our videos we had to edit for time, so give some of the little glitches we had there. Go out on YouTube, go out and buy these things, and you'll find them on sites. Go and enjoy the music, please. Mike, we're pleased to be able to grant this acknowledgement to you, the Museum of the Gulf Coast from Port Arthur, Texas, in recognition of your life accomplishments. Yeah. Mike Zito is hereby included in the Music Hall of Fame, April 2025, and signed by Sam Monroe, President of the Historical Society, and me as Director.
All right. Thank you. My hair looked really good in most of that video. And then I noticed the other two guys in the band are bald, so now I realize why it works out that way. I joke because I get a little nervous. I'm not always good with this. First of all, thank you so much, and congratulations, Bart. Congratulations to the great Paul Orta, who I knew about forever and never got to play music with him because, as Tom said, he was always on the road. That's what you do when you're a musician. I made a little list because I'm getting older. Of course, I want to thank the Museum of the Gulf Coast. And I want to thank Tom Neal, and I want to thank Jive and Jean Bourgeois. My friend Drew Camura right here. Had a very big part in nominating me and kind of making this happen. And of course, I want to thank my wife Laura. I wish she was here with us. I know she's here in spirit. I know she's very proud and happy about this. I want to thank all my family that's here in Southeast Texas, and all my friends and my friends in recovery. I see you, and my daughters, Jackie, everybody that's here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. This is always going to be my second home. I'm not from Texas. I always think like I wasn't born in Texas. I was definitely raised in Texas. What I mean by raised is I became an adult male in Southeast Texas. Of course, with Laura and with all of the just amazing people that I met here. Amazing people. And there are people in the room right now, I can see your face. You know who you are. And they played a huge role in me getting clean and sober and staying sober, supporting me and giving me inspiration. And, when I got here, I didn't own a thing. And I would meet people that had cars and houses and, and stories just like mine. And they inspired me. So it was, and also, the musicians, the music here, the culture. I don't think that the one thing I learned about being in any part of Texas is you're very proud of yourselves, and rightfully so. So I won't say that you don't pay attention to your culture. You're aware of it. But you're hitting it all the time. And this was new for me when I got here. And having been a fan of Johnny Winter and Edgar Winter and all the great music, I was really excited to be somewhere new to kind of soak it all up. And I did. I was really just amazing musicians that I think should be standing right here that are from Southeast Texas. And I will certainly accept on all of their behalves because they helped me immensely so much. I will tell you that the album Life is Hard, just an interesting note, is that was a song by Johnny Winter that he recorded back in, 1990. And I remember, hearing that music when I was just out of high school there. And I was so turned on. So for it to all kind of come back around, it's amazing. So I'm very thankful. I'm very honored. I'm trying to remember if I'm not forgetting anything. The one thing I've definitely learned here, coming here, is God always has a plan. And you have to kind of follow the energy. And so that's what I'm doing. And that's what I've done. That's what I've learned to do. And I will always be here. Always come back here. I always have family here. We'll always come play at the Bayou Cafe. Because they don't have very good gumbo in St. Louis. We're going to build a Bayou Cafe in St. Louis. That's what we're going to do, aren't we? So I love coming here. I came here many, many times over the years. I would bring artists in that were going to be on our record label. And I always say we're going to go to the museum. We're going to go. They were always very excited. It never, ever, ever occurred to me that I would be on this end of receiving this. So thank you very much.
Oh, God, please don't.
Mike had a call that they want you to go to the gig, play. So. I told him you were busy. Folks, thank you for being here today. Support the museum. We're all worth it, and we're doing greater things, but we can't do it without everybody's help. And do me a favor, come here and check it out, because local people just don't know half of what's going on around here. And all they do is drop their jaws. I didn't know that. So take advantage of things. We want the kids to come in here because we want them to know this is a launch pad, not a dead-end street. You got people in all these different areas of their lives that they've been able, and it was not easy. They had to work hard to be able to achieve these things, but they made a footprint, and we recognized 3 new folks that we're adding to our collection today. In the room next to me, we have an art show going on. But we also have a couple tables out from an event we had last night, and Mike was gracious enough to bring us some memorabilia that we'll be incorporating into an exhibit for him. If you'd like to go by and take a look at it, feel free to do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for your afternoon, and come see the museum sometime.